So I'm not all that familiar with Delaware County. Surprisingly, I grew up in Philly, and Delaware County is right under Philadelphia, but just don't come down here too often. But this really isn't a trail, and you never know, especially with my most recent explorations. I run into a lot of homeless people, so hopefully that won't happen today. So unfortunately, I'm not going to get to that little waterfall. I mean, unless I find a way to go up around the railroad tracks and down, which I don't believe I'm going to do because I'm not. I really want to see that cabin, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of trails. This is what happens to me sometimes when I go off on these little adventures. I just, like, as soon as I see something cool, I go off on a side trail, and then before you know it, 45 minutes has gone by. So anyway, I'm going to get back on trail. Not sure if you can hear that, but it's starting to rain pretty hard. Good times. It's a nice trail. It's good for running, not a lot of rocks. And as I'm walking along here, seeing all these bricks and stones like this that may have been part of a wall at one time. From what I was reading online, in addition to the Swedish cabin that we're going to see, I believe there's some ruins or old remains from when the Irish settled down here, and I believe they settled along the creek. So we'll have to check that out. So I see this bridge, and I definitely want to cross over and see what's on the other side. Now I could be wrong, but I think if we go over there, we're going to be moving away from where the cabin is. I believe the cabin is down this way somewhere. So there's a cabin on the thumbnail, and that's the title of the video, so I think I should probably get to the cabin pretty quick. All right, so there it is. There is the cabin we're looking for. And we have a historical marker. Lower Swedish Cabin, the only remaining log cabin of its type among several once located on the Darby Creek. Evidently built by Swedish settlers who came to the area after 1638. So it sounds like there were a lot of them here at one time. And this is kind of interesting. Used by early Philadelphia filmmaker Sigmund Lubin as the site for several pre-1910 motion pictures. Pretty cool. Pre-1910, this probably looked like the wilderness out here. And it sounds as if there were a lot of these cabins. Assuming these are the original logs. And from what I was reading online, and here's the little evidence of it, back then when they used to put these log cabins together, they used to leave the bark on. So very little bark left, but here we have some here, and you can definitely see that that is the case. See if we can look inside this window. Not sure if they ever open this up for tours. Definitely gonna have to do some reading up on this. And then we have an old, I guess, a shed in the back, which of course is locked. Oh, so this is so cool though, right? So we can actually see the shingle roof because there's a, I guess what was a shed at one time. Who knows, maybe that was a kitchen. And I'm thinking this probably is the original stonework. So I did read a little bit about this before coming out here. I believe people lived in this probably till halfway through the 20th century, maybe like to the 1950s or 60s, but I will certainly check and put that on the video, which is pretty cool. And I think it was pretty much just abandoned or in disrepair until maybe like the 1980s. Look at the old chimney. And also I read online that the windows are not original. There were no windows when this was originally built. That was added, I believe, in the 19th century. Another chimney up there. Let's see if we can see in this window. Another thing, and maybe some of you can answer this, and I'll look it up as well. I wonder what, now this obviously is not original, it was added, but what did they use? Was it just mud? What would they have used in the 1600s? All right, so I do want to check out behind because there are some ruins here. Now, from what I understand, these ruins are not from the cabin or the Swedish settlement. As I might have mentioned earlier in this video, I always say that because I actually edit out a lot. I talk a lot, in case you didn't notice. But I believe these are the ruins from an Irish settlement. And I will have to look at when they settled the area. But you can see the old foundations for sure. It's actually more of it intact than I would have thought. So it appears as if they were stone, and then maybe concrete was layered over it, or at least on the foundation. Again, you can see the old stonework, probably from field stones from this area. A little look inside, which is not much left here, but it's kind of cool to think about somebody actually living here at one time. So I also see a brick. So that would tell me, well, you know, I say that, but bricks, you know, I always think bricks are, you know, newer, like from the 19th century, but no, all you gotta do is walk through Philadelphia and all those homes that were built in the 1760s were brick. And we have something going on over here. Don't know what this was. So I don't know if it was part of the cabin or the property of the person who owned that cabin or not. I would assume, I want to say I would assume so, but maybe not. It could be most likely, in fact, more likely it was from the Irish settlement. But you can see that was stone too at the bottom. Let's just get another look at our cabin here. So the gutters are wood. I wonder if they even had gutters when this was built. I'm gonna guess not, but maybe there's someone out there that can tell me differently. Maybe the gutters were added later, like in the 19th century. If that's the case, they probably were wood. And then there's a gutter on this side as well. I'm really digging that chimney up there. It's, yeah, I really should be zooming in, but you see the stone wall, then there's like 4 rocks on the corners that are holding up a sheet of rock. So I guess that would control the smoke coming out. And who knows? Maybe in 1630, now this is me just thinking on my own. This is either brilliant or really stupid. But maybe, right, they did that so the smoke would go off to the sides because they didn't want to be noticed by the natives in the area. And remember, this was 1640s, so this was all wilderness when the Swedish settled here. Maybe yes, maybe no. All right, so I think I'm going to end my video here. Thank you so much for watching. It's very much appreciated. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much, and you have a great weekend. Take care, everybody.